In this video, you'll observe a 5th grade reading strategy group. For this lesson, Julia Cuthbertson, the literacy coach at Smith Elementary, tapped the power of the units to study and taught directly from the small group section in Session 7 of Interpretation Book Clubs. You'll notice how her instruction is reinforcing a part of one of the major learning progressions from the unit. You'll also notice the way she engages students, quickly teaching the strategy, and then coaches in each individually with students as she meets with them. This method allows for her to truly evaluate where each learner stands and to make the best decisions for her students' growth. Pay close attention to how she uses the unit of study as her guide and the tools she creates.
All right, good morning, readers. How's everyone?
Good.
Okay, so readers, I called you to our meeting area today because I noticed that sometimes it can be tricky to decide which ideas are worth pursuing, which ideas are worth jotting about and saying more about. So remember that one of our goals for reading is that we want to grow some big ideas. Okay, so I was thinking we could practice this right now and just do it really quickly to get ourselves warmed up. Okay, so I have right here some ideas from Home of the Brave. And you guys are going to tell me if it's a small idea, something maybe that's not really worth jotting too much about, or if it's a big idea. All right? Okay, ready? Keck is nervous to start school. Is that going to be a big idea or a small idea?
Small idea.
Yeah, small idea, right. Okay, ready? Keck feels like he didn't appreciate Lowell while he had him.
Big idea.
Big idea? Okay. Keck doesn't know what snow is.
Small idea.
Small? Okay. Good. Ganwar is unhappy.
Small idea.
Sure. Okay. Keck yearns for his old life. He's confused about what has happened and what will happen next.
Big idea.
Big idea? My last one, ready? Keck feels a hole in his life, a hole that was once filled by the love of his mother, father, and brother.
Big idea.
Big idea? Okay. So, readers, today I want to teach you that for an idea to be big, for an idea to be worth pursuing, it needs to pertain to more than just one character. So his mom and dad and his brother, Lowell and Keck, feeling a little bit confused, like we said over here. So our ideas Keck is nervous about school, it's important, right? But in order for it to be a big idea, something worth pursuing, we want to just not think about our main character, but we want to also think about other characters that are also involved. And we can do this by asking ourselves 3 questions. Okay? We can ask ourselves, how do other characters act towards my character? We can ask, how does my character act differently with different characters and why? You want to remember that and why. Or we can ask ourselves, what am I realizing about my character's relationships? Do you think we could try that right now? Do you remember from earlier when we were talking about my former student Sam and how he was reading The Ringer? You guys remember that? Okay. So I brought one of his jottings. And I'm going to read that jotting to you, and then we're going to do some thinking. So it says, Beans makes Palmer do things he's not comfortable with. Dorothy makes him feel safe, and he can be himself. Did you guys see how he wrote and he really thought about how his other characters are affecting the way that Palmer feels? He said that Dorothy makes him feel safe and comfortable. And Beans makes Palmer do things that he's not very happy or comfortable with. Do you see how he took it a step further? Do you guys think that you could try this now? Okay, go ahead and open up your notebooks. I want you guys right now to find a place that you think is worth exploring or pursuing a little bit farther. Go ahead and pick that. And then just take that Post-it and turn to a blank page. Have your Post-it? Perfect. Go ahead and just stick it right here, okay? Got it right there? Perfect. Okay, great. So now you're going to do this. I want you guys right now, take a moment, think about which question you would ask yourself, and then I want you to start jotting. Readers, are you ready? Get started. Are you reading over your jot, Brandon? What's it saying? Can you tell me what your jot says?
Charlie Reese has been making the same wish since 4th grade. Charlie Reese had a list of wishes. Her dad was in jail for fighting. Her mom wouldn't get out of bed, so she had to live with Gus and Bertha.
Oh, so I hear like dad, mom, lots going on with this main character, Charlie, right? So which question are you thinking is going to work with this, with your jot?
How does my character act different with different characters and why?
Ooh, okay. So when you're jotting, you're going to think about like, how does Charlie act maybe with his mom? And then maybe you might think about, compare it to like how he feels about a different character. And don't forget to add that text evidence, that why. Okay? Go ahead and get started. Awesome. Kennedy, what are you writing? Oh my gosh, you got a lot going on.
I wrote that their mom doesn't have a lot of money, and like she doesn't really tell the children why they don't have a lot of money.
Yeah. And so which question were you thinking about?
How does my character act differently with the different characters and why?
Yeah, I'm going to push your thinking. Make sure you add that why at the end, okay? So I want you to say like, why do you think mom is like keeping this from her children? Why don't you think mom is like acting like she doesn't have any money? Okay? Like, what do you think, like, why would mom do that? Can you think of something right now?
Because she doesn't want them to worry about like not having stuff maybe.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect. Add that in, and then I want you to push your thinking to think about, like, give some examples of when she does that, okay? Awesome. Keep going. All right, Danielle, what are you working on right now? Which question did you pick?
What am I realizing about my character's relationship?
Perfect. Can you tell me what you're thinking right now? What was your...
Thinking that about Jay's relationship with Mr. McClatchy.
Ooh, tell me more. Tell me more about that.
So Jay is new to the neighborhood and he finds out something is going wrong and he thinks Mr. McClatchy is the cause of it. And he doesn't like Mr. McClatchy because he's just a grumpy old man and Mr. McClatchy kicked his dog and Mr. Phineas is, he acts different toward all the characters, but with Mr. Phineas, he doesn't, and he made Mr. Phineas whimper, and after that, Phineas almost got killed by some buzzard dogs, and
oh my gosh. Okay, so let's go back, make sure that we're staying focused with our jot. I wanted you to make sure that you're really focusing on that relationship between Jax and Mr. McClatchy, is it? Yeah, so really think about, like, why do we think, like, Mr. McClatchy is acting in this way? Is it just that Jax is a bad kid, or could there be, like, something a little bit more? Can we push our thinking a little bit?
well,
What are you thinking?
the linemen's in Mr. McClatchy's yard.
Yeah.
Jay saw them come alive and chased them, so he think that Mr. McClatchy made the lawnmowers.
Oh, so maybe there's something more to this story, right? I want you to explore that idea and really think about, like, Jax and Mr. McClatchy and what's really going on here. Like, what's really going on with their relationship, okay? And why it's, like, not the best. All right, keep going. Nice job. Okay, make sure you keep jotting, okay? All right, what are you thinking, Ashley?
My character Kat is sad because she's moving and leaving all her friends behind, but she has to move due to her sister's health.
Okay, so which question did you ask yourself?
What am I realizing about my character's relationships?
What are you thinking about right now?
That she really doesn't want to move, but she has to move due to her sister's health. And even though she has to leave her friends behind, she still wants to protect her sister.
Can you, like, say a little bit more about, like, why might she want to protect her sister? Like, what does that really say about our main character, Kat?
She's overprotective.
Oh, she might be overprotective. Can you use some examples of, like, other places? Maybe, like, this is one example. Can we give, like, more examples about how maybe she's, like, overprotective in the story?
Yes.
And if you need to look back in your book, you can look back in your book and reread some parts too, okay? All right. Can you tell me what you're doing here? What did you say about that relationship?
Charlie Reese and her dad a similar relationship. Charlie fights at school, and her dad fights with the mom.
Can I like take your thinking to the next level? Can we think about like maybe what's happened in both of their lives where like why do they both decide, like why do they both think that fighting is like the right thing to do? Can you think about like are there any similarities between like what's happened maybe with Dad and maybe with Charlie? If you have to go back and reread or like check in your book to see if like you can find that part in the book or maybe read on a little, you can take some time to do that, but finish your final thought, okay? All right. How are you doing?
Good.
Are you thinking about Jax and Mr. McClatchy? What were you thinking about that relationship? What are you realizing about what's going on?
I realized that Mr. McClatchy doesn't like people going in his yard, so maybe he does. He put the lawn gnomes over there for a reason, and he's very old, and he said the town is as old as him. So he probably put, and there's a lot of lawn gnomes around the town, so he probably put all the lawn gnomes over there.
Kind of sounds like you're even talking about like this question, like how do other characters like Mr. McClatchy act towards Jax? So it might be like maybe we'll get to the like character relationship, but it sounds like right now you're just kind of thinking about like the way that Mr. McClatchy is acting and maybe even some of that why, right? What do you think?
That chose wrong.
That's okay.
Here.
You didn't choose wrong. We just sometimes we have to, maybe we're not here yet, but you just gotta keep going. Keep going with that thought, okay? All right, awesome. And how are you doing? Good. You're writing a lot. I love to see that. Tell me what you're adding now.
I said, because sometimes Mom says, it might be late again.
I love it.
And that in one of my chapters it said that, since they don't make a lot of money, they might have to find somewhere else to live.
Perfect. In just a moment, we're going to finish up, but when you go back to your seat, I want you to find that part in the book, and like you can even put in your jotting like on page or in chapter, and then add like that quote or that line from your book. Can you do that? Okay, awesome. Okay, readers, can I call you back together? Boys and girls, you have been doing some really good jotting, and you guys are really growing some big ideas. So today and every day, I want you guys to continue doing this work. When you feel like you've got a small idea, see if you can grow it into a big idea by asking yourself, how do other characters act toward my character? Or how does my character act differently with different characters and why? Or you might ask yourself, what am I realizing about my characters' relationships? Do you guys think you can continue this work at your seats? Okay, off you go. Great job, guys.